Our first post is by Ionic Res. I exposed an affair because it was affecting my sleep. My upstairs neighbor has been having an affair with a married man for about 4 months now. I wouldn't care, but because it's an affair, he comes over at odd hours of the night and they have adult fun time very loudly. I can hear a lot. And it wakes me up / prevents me from sleeping. How do I know it's an affair? He never spends the night and his car has a baby car seat in the back. Some backstory. I've had issues with this upstairs neighbor prior to this. She would throw parties on Monday nights. She gets home at 2 a.m. from work, pacing her condo and having loud phone conversations. She's 40 years old, throwing parties with 20-year-olds and having affairs and living like a teenager. I tried talking to her like a normal person about my concerns, but she doesn't care, and I've had to get the association involved to stop the parties. I hate her. So, I decided to learn some more about this mysterious man. I looked up the license plate, found an address, searched the address, and found a name. Took the name and did some social media stalking and found the man and his wife's profiles. I made a throwaway account and messaged the wife about the affair. I haven't seen him for a few weeks now, and I'm sleeping nicely. Our next post is by Stinky Fish Tits. I made a dude get his nuts waxed on the first day after he lied to me. When I was in my early 20s and online dating was just starting, I made a profile and said I was just not going to be into two things: smokers and people with kids. Just that. You could be anything else, and if the chemistry is there, we are all good. I meet this guy early in the morning for a breakfast date, and we're hitting it off, averagely. No sparks, but no red flags. The date goes on for 2.5 hours, breakfast taking forever, until we are splitting the bill and he tells me he has a kid. I ask him if he read my profile to know that I was not interested in that, and he says, "Yes, I read that, but knew if you just spent time with me, you'd see how great I am, and you'd be willing to see past that." I was floored, as now he had wasted 3 hours of my life and was okay being a liar. That was unacceptable to me. I said, "Well, I don't want this date to end, but I have to go across town to get my Brazilian, where they take all the hair off and clean the bum hole, done in an hour. Want to come with me and get one too? It's not painful," a total lie, "and I think it's attractive of men to be clean there. No pressure, but I'm pretty busy the rest of the week, and this is my only free day." He was all about following me anywhere. I told the ladies that this was his first time and that they should take everything, including the butt. He held my hand, and we both got them done at the same time. He screamed a lot, but was a champ and went through with it. I made him pay for his own and never called him again. If you're out there, Chris, please don't lie to women on the first date. It's a really bad way to start a relationship. Edit. Wow. Well, it seems like most people are having 3 general reactions. 1, this is delightfully petty. 2, you're a horrible person plus other explicitives. And 3, this is fake. 1, thank you all for the validation that online dating sucks for all genders and you shouldn't go into it with a lie. 2, yeah, I am a horrible person. 3, it's not fake, but you can think so if you want to. When I was in my early 20s, I did a lot of things I would maybe still do now, and some I wouldn't. And to all of those sending me messages calling me nasty things behind your keyboards, this is PettyRevenge, so you came here for this. She's right. Our next post is by Pasta Mark. I got a little girl in trouble on purpose. I have a 1-year-old son, and we decided to go to the playground one day. On this day, a bunch of kids were there, among whom was a bratty 4-year-old or so girl that had a mean streak to her. My son didn't know better, went close to her, and she tells him, "What are you doing here? You're not invited." I agree. I kinda didn't like my son being bullied. But I figured he doesn't understand these things yet, and I didn't want to be one of those sensitive helicopter parents who shield their kids from everything. So I just took my son and we played elsewhere. Later on, I see that her grandma was there, and it seems like she's not one of those loosey-goosey grandmas. So while the girl was close to her grandma, it dawned on me I could bait her to be mean to my kid in front of Granny. So I placed my son closer since I figured he wouldn't understand anyways. And it worked. She said, "You're not welcome here. Go away." And her grandma heard, and she got in trouble. And the grandma said they will now go home since she can't be nice. She fought it, but couldn't do anything. Part of it, I think, is Granny just wanted to go home. Edit. I'm sorry for the lack of clear communication on my part, but for those who say my 1 year old needs to learn boundaries, yes, I do agree, and I do try and teach him. For example, he wants to just grab other kids' toys like toy cars or balls when the other kids fling them around. But I never let him touch it and communicate with him why it's important not to touch other people's things without their consent. For the girls asserting their boundaries part, as much as I am for boundaries, she was gathered in the middle of the top of the playground structure where kids access the slides and fiddle with marbles on the walls. So I really don't think she or her group should be asserting their boundaries or personal space when they're in a shared space in a supposed to be throughway for other kids. And she was also doing it to other kids, not just mine. Hope this helps. Down in the comments, Leaky Bum says, yeah, thankfully the grandma corrected that behavior. Seen too many parents and guardians get defensive and let their kids get away with almost anything. Those kids almost always turn out horribly. Wild929 says, I just about hyperventilated reading your comment. I witnessed the same thing in a particular adult. His mom and dad were afraid to disappoint him as a kid, saying no, or knock this crap off, or there will be consequences. Now, he's 35 and still learning how to manage his feelings in the real world where no one cares about how delicate your psyche is. It's interesting watching him talk about how coworkers push his buttons and he wants to quit because they're mean. You're so correct that you should use childhood as a training ground for being a little turd and learning how to make and fix mistakes yourself. Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in to another Reddit video. If you would like to, click another video. And if you would be so kind to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.